Will again from White River Paintball. I've had a lot of people come in with a very common problem with their markers not cycling. What do I mean by not cycling? I mean, whenever you pull the trigger, the gun will fire once, but it will not reset into its position again, ready to fire. I actually have a marker with that same problem right here. This is what it sounds like. So, as you can see, we're only getting one shot out of it, and it's not cocking back. So give me just a couple seconds, I'll get this guy taken apart, and we can take a closer look at it and talk about some common issues that cause that. All right, so we have the marker in front of us. All the screws have been unscrewed. They are located in the following locations. And it's not required for this marker, but I highly recommend you just loosen the 2 screws on the ASA. It'll make the marker easier to get apart. All right, let's go ahead and start digging into it. This is a Tippmann 98 Custom, so it is very, very similar to other Tippmann blowback markers, such as the Project Salvo, the Alpha Black, the Sierra 1, the Bravo Elite, the Cronus Tactical. So if you have any of those markers, feel free to use this as a rough guide for those as well. So first thing I'm doing, like I always do, is I'm removing my trigger spring, my sear spring, and my rear drive spring. That's so that way they don't accidentally shoot across the pro shop, never to be found again. All right. So this marker is having issues with cycling. The first thing that we can notice is that it is very, very dirty, but we're not going to focus on that. I know exactly what's wrong with this marker. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go through step by step the places where you'd want to look to troubleshoot this. If you recently took apart your marker, I recommend you check your detent. It's very, very common for people to put the detent in backwards. And if you put it in backwards, what will happen is, I can show you, when you fire your paintball marker, your front bolt is going to get caught on it and it could break it. So that is the first thing that I would check, is make sure your detent is correct and placed like so. All right, I'm going to remove the front, or the linkage arm, and look at our front bolt. Now this front bolt is fairly dirty. If your front bolt is covered in an excessive amount of paint or dirt, I would recommend that you wipe it down, clean it, give it a, make sure it's very, very clean. Make sure you clean your power tube of any sort of built up paint or debris, and see if that will help your issue whatsoever. All right, moving on to the rear bolt, which is the source of our problem, I could tell, because we are missing our rear bolt O-ring. That is what's going to be causing the problems for this marker. So we'll set that off to the side. But before we fix that, I want to talk about one last thing, is your rear drive spring. This can also cause issues with blowback on your marker. The longer that these guys set, compressed whenever you cock back the gun, they'll compress and they slowly lose their tension. So sort of a last all be all fix. If everything else doesn't fix it, replace your drive spring. That's more than likely your issue. Okay, so back to the rear bolt and our missing O-ring. Why would the O-ring be missing? It could be because that it was so worn and damaged and destroyed that it just completely disintegrated, or it could be that I took it out 5 minutes prior to making this video. But nonetheless, it is very important and that is the cause of our problem. So I will go ahead and replace this O-ring very quick. Now, why did this missing O-ring cause the gun not to cycle? It's because this O-ring makes a seat inside of the back side of this power tube, and when the gun fires, you open up a valve, and then the back pressure, which catches on that O-ring, then pushes the bolt back so that way the sear can catch it. So it's very, very important that you make sure that this O-ring is in good shape and good integrity and is very, very clean. Otherwise, you could have blowback issues. All right, so we're gonna quickly throw this guy back together, and with that out of the way, we'll see if it cycles. Here. All right, make sure that this little nib just kind of lines up with the top of the gun. Reconnect our bolts. Line it up with the body. Insert our trigger spring and our sear spring. And I like to do this in a little bit of different order of operations. I like to put my trigger guard here, and then take my safety, put it through the other half, This will tell me if the safety O-ring needs to be replaced, if it's staying in place, so that way I know it's fine. And then I line up this window with the rear bolt handle, and I lined up this hole with the trigger for the safety on this other half. All right. So I'm going to tighten down these screws. We'll put a tank up to it and cycle it and see if it works. All right, guys, so now that we have it all together, let's see if it cycles. Yep, cycles perfectly fine. So just to recap, guys, first thing, make sure your paintball marker is clean and lubricated. I know that ours are a little dirty. It's Thursday, we're getting ready for the weekend. It's gonna be cleaned anyways. But make sure that your marker is clean. All my personal markers are spotless. And then check your detent. If you've recently taken your marker apart, you could have put that in backwards. Check the O-rings on your front and rear bolt. And then as a last measure, your drive spring. That could also be the issue. So once again, if you enjoy these videos, please let us know down in the comments. I hope that you learned something today, and stay around for more content.